Welcome back to the Inner Circle Show. In the world of Tesla, we apparently have Tesla releasing their own candy. Yes, you heard me right, but we'll get into all of that in just a minute. Also, GM, General Motors, are not doing very well with their EV sales, and we also have more things to cover. But before we get into all of that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on so you do not miss an upload, Monday through Friday. The first thing that I want to tackle is an upgrade that has come in from Global Equities Research, and they have increased their price target for Tesla from $340 a share to $400 a share. Their main reason for this upgrade is that they expect an increase in the demand for Tesla vehicles. They think that this increase in demand is going to be driven by a $7,500 EV credit, effectively lowering the price of the vehicles. If you're someone that actually makes price targets, do let me know what your price targets are for Tesla in the comments below. Then we have General Motors. Now it's safe to say that they seem to be experiencing a very different issue. Not so much an increase in demand, let's say. GM's CEO has said that they will not meet their 1 million EV capacity target by 2025. And this has been their guidance that they've had for quite a while now. Let's just listen to her talk about why this is.
You know, at General Motors, moving to an all-electric future, and almost what's more important is the fact that the vehicle really is a software platform. And so, you know, we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown right now. We won't, we won't get to 1 million just because the market's not developing, but we'll get there. And so we're going to be guided by the customer. But what I like to tell people is, get in an electric vehicle and drive it. It's a lot of fun. It's instant torque. It opens up new design language for the vehicle. So as the charging infrastructure gets more robust, as EVs become more affordable, I definitely think we're going to see that growth. And the next 10, 11, 12 years is going to be pretty transformative in the way people move.
Now, I think it's safe to say, and you know, it's been safe to say this for quite a while now, that GM are not going to be catching up with Tesla anytime soon in terms of electric vehicles. They are very far off, and Tesla are way out in the distance compared to them. She makes a good point that it's more important that we focus on software rather than hardware in vehicles now. And we definitely are going to see that transition continue. But once again, it shows us just how difficult it is to produce and sell EVs that people actually want. Making a prototype, making a few hundred vehicles is one thing, but actually mass manufacturing and selling them to the masses is a very different thing. And then to make money on them, a different thing as well. And you know, it's really hard to compete with the likes of Tesla and some of these Chinese automotive companies as well, like BYD. We've also recently heard the news that Tesla is set to hire about 800 new employees. And this comes after them recently laying off about 20% of their workforce just a few months ago. And many of these job openings are focused on AI, robotics, and energy. So clearly they are trying to push their AI initiatives and actually grow these areas of their business. Now, some people will be confused as to why they sort of flip-flop between laying people off and then hiring. Like, why bother laying people off if you're only going to hire a few months later? I actually think that they are quite strategic in the way that they lay off employees. And you've got to think as well, they're laying off employees that maybe aren't performing very well. And then they're rehiring when they're in a better financial position maybe, and they're hiring employees that might end up performing a lot better. It's all very strategic, and I think it makes a lot of sense. And I actually saw a really good post on X that I want to share about this. So AJ on X said this was highly predictable, since Elon once said that if you don't have to rehire people, you didn't cut enough. This makes sense. It's unlikely you hit exactly the right number of people, and hence if you don't have to rehire, you likely cut too few. And number two, Elon said that he is reshaping Tesla for the company's next phase of growth. Now, if you expand this picture here, you can actually see what areas of the business they are now rehiring for. And although it's quite difficult to see here, the job openings, like I said, are mainly for AI and robotics and the energy, solar and storage space. Whereas we can see that the service sector maybe is actually not rehiring right now, and then the constructions and facilities seems to be quite stable. But you know, these things change over time. And I also like his reply here. So someone said it's just so they can have mass layoffs again next year and artificially deflate the stock price, probably. And he said, It's an old practice in competitive businesses to lay off automatically each year 5% of the workforce regardless of how well the business performs. The idea behind it is that they are always hiring mistakes, hiring underperformers or former performers that turn into underperformers. And an annual pruning helps to keep the crop strong. And then we've got perhaps the most bizarre Tesla information, the most bizarre Tesla news that I have seen in quite a long time. Apparently, Tesla have trademarked or put in a trademark application for 4 Tesla candies. These are candies under the names of Cyberberry, Mango Bolt, Dog Mode Chill, and Supercharged Gummies. Now, this seems so random. Why are Tesla, who are a tech, software, AI, robotics company with an automotive segment and an energy segment, all these things that Tesla are, why are they now filing trademark applications for candy? There's a few things that I'm thinking here. Now, even number one, this is just not what we think it is at all. And actually, it's not going to ever turn into anything. And it's whatever, it's not a thing. Number two, they are actually creating a whole new business segment and entering the candy industry, which is a massive, massive industry. And if they did that and they did it well, I imagine that would, do wonders for them. But that just seems to be very far-fetched. However, I do think, as far as I'm aware, as far as I can find on X, that Elon has actually mentioned making candy before. So potentially that is the case. But again, this just seems a little bit weird. Like, why would you do that now? But who knows? Maybe he'll surprise us. Or maybe this has a hidden meaning. Maybe this is linked to the robo-taxi event that is coming up. Maybe this is linked to FSD and robo-taxis in general. And perhaps these names are actually secretly linked in some way to new vehicles or new features, or maybe even modes for FSD. Maybe you have the Mango Bolt mode. I don't know. Some way maybe they're linked. Or maybe these are just candies that they're going to be producing. I think people have said this on X, candies that they'll be producing for giving out at this event, at the robo-taxi event. Personally, I would most like to see this somehow linked to a deeper meaning. Maybe they're not just getting into the candy industry. Maybe they're filing these candy trademark names so that they can produce merchandise that links to something else that they're doing that is much bigger and much more exciting. I don't know. Mr. Beast got into chocolate bars and Ryan Trahan's got into candy. So it's very possible. Clearly there's a market there. And I do think it's a market that, especially in America, it needs shaking up. It's not, these big food corporations are running the show and they're doing it in a very negative way for consumers in terms of how unhealthy these things are. So maybe, who knows, I'm waffling now, so I'm going to stop there. But do let me know what you think this could all mean in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.